success as a team is more successful than LeBron. I got 6 rings. Individual accolades, or you want championships? Because I didn't chase mine.
Well, as promised, I did say I was going to come back on here and talk about. There was 2 seasons, right? It was 2 seasons. Actually, could have been multiple seasons. But we all know the Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA championship in 2021. That came in a somewhat COVID year. We're still getting out of it. Some of us are still getting out of it. Some of us are already free months into the whole vid situation. That's not a here or there. But they won in 2021. First time winning since 1971, right? Giannis got the MVP. Put him on the map. Put him on the map. Gave Milwaukee something to cheer for, because up until this point, like I said, Bucks haven't went to the finals since 1974 when they lost to the Boston Celtics in 7 games. But as far as like Wisconsin, Milwaukee sports, disappointing. Disappointing to say the least. Green Bay Packers months before were just in an NFC Championship game against Tom Brady and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they lost that in a heartbreak, even though I think they got cheated and robbed out of that. And I think some of that was rigged anyway. And there was that going on in that 2020 season. The Brewers, Milwaukee Brewers, just, I want to say since 2018, they was just, 2018 lost the 7 games to the Dodgers. Before going, the Dodgers went to the World Series. I think they lost in 6 to the Boston Red Sox in the World Series. The year after that, 2019 season, Brewers lost in heartbreak again to the eventual World Series champions Washington Nationals. The bubble season for the Brewers, there's an AC lawsuit. Eventual Dodgers won their bubble ship, and so it was just terrible for Milwaukee sports. I didn't think the 2021 season, they was like the number 1 seed, number 3 seed, or something like that, and they lost to the eventual champion Atlanta Braves, that went on to win the World Series. So it was not great for Wisconsin sports. But here's the thing. I think the Bucks could have won. I think they could have won multiple, but there was one championship, or 1 year, I should say, not championship, but there was 1 year I thought they was certified to win it. It was all laced up in package form. And that was the 2019-2020 season, the bubble season. As we all know what was going on in that season, I don't need to expound upon more what happened around that time. I don't want to. It has bad feelings. It has bad memories, because not only did the world go through this pandemic, we also lost the late great Kobe Bryant before COVID started. So it just was not a good. 2020 was a year that I had joking with the family that doesn't exist anymore. We're all 1 year younger, according to us. But the 2019-20 season, the Bucks was coming off losing in 6 games to the eventual champion Toronto Raptors, right, with Kawhi Leonard. And personally, I was thinking, I said, all right, they need experience. That 16-22 season they had the year before, 18-19 season, all right, they need experience. Giannis needs to get better, develop a shot and all that. They'll be back. I have faith that they'll be back. And so that season, leading up into that season, the only team that I was really worried about that could stop the Bucks, because by this time Kawhi Leonard went to the Clippers, right? Because in the East in itself, he did have the Boston Celtics. He did have the Raptors still, but they lost Kawhi and Danny Green. And you had the Miami Heat, who were a fumbling team for most of that season. I think they was the 5th seed. 76ers as well. The 76ers were in the bubble, right? See, the Sixers were so underwhelming. I don't even remember where they didn't even make it to the bubble. But you had teams like that, right? That could possibly stand in the way. As far as the West is concerned, Philadelphia was the 6th seed that year. Indiana Pacers as well, but as far as the West is concerned, Lakers, because they know they got LeBron got a stack of teams, so they got to get Anthony Davis. And I really wasn't too much worried about the Lakers because of LeBron's, an idiot. So the Bucks was better than what they was the previous season in 2020 season or 2020 season. By March, it was 53-9. It was 53-9. And then COVID happened. By March 11, when they suspended the season, I think they was the first team to clinch a playoff berth. Actually, they was, due to Chicago beating the Washington Wizards that season. So it was the first team to clinch it. Suspension. They didn't play until June. Actually, I take that back. They gave the Bucks the Central Division on June 4th before they restarted the season. That right there actually tied the Detroit Pistons when it comes to records of winning the Central Division, which is 9. The Bucks didn't return to play till July 31st against the Boston Celtics down in the bubble. And I think they finished the season at 56 and 57, number 1 in the division, number 1 in the East. They say that's equivalent to being 63-19 in the full season. That season, that playoff run, they would have played the Orlando Magic, winning in 5 games, and I think they lost the first game. But if we do remember what happened in the first round of that series, I think there was a brief work stoppage because of the whole Jacob Blake situation in Kenosha, and the Bucks let it strike with the Black Lives Matter movement, which I was really not fond of because F Black Lives Matter. And the Bucks refused to play Game 5. Eventually they did, and they ended up winning the series in 5. And then they played the Miami Heat, which they lost in 5 games. I think Giannis got hurt during that series as well. And we all know the Miami Heat went on to go play the Boston Celtics in the conference finals, and they ended up losing to the Lakers in 6 games in the finals. Here's why I think the Bucks should have won this year. They was led by Giannis Antetokounmpo, averaging 29 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists that season, while shooting 55% from the field, 30% from 3. And then you have Chris Middleton was only averaging 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. And then right behind there was Eric Bledsoe and Brook Lopez. In the playoffs, a little bit different. Giannis' averages went down, of course. But I think Giannis ended up getting MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. But the reason why I say they could have won their first title, well, Giannis could have won his first title that season if it was not for the stop and breakage of the season. That killed all the momentum the Bucks had right there. And it probably killed the momentum of a lot of people. But it definitely killed the momentum of the Bucks because I don't think they was fully 100% into the game, which a lot of teams, players weren't. Some people didn't even play. I think Kyrie didn't even play in the bubble. I think he was one of them. And we all know who really wanted to play. He thought it would be an easy ring, which he ended up getting, but we ain't gonna mention his name. Now, if not for the world situation around that time, I think the Bucks could have. I think they could have won. I don't know if they would play the same teams that they played, but I think they could have won and got to the finals, and I think they would have beat the Lakers. But that's wishful thinking. But there was things also that Giannis needed to work on. Like I say, he needed to work on the mid-range shot. That's one of the things I was saying around that time. He needed to work on that. But also, people might say, "Oh, they couldn't win it. Bucks couldn't win it that season." And I would say one of the reasons why people would say they wouldn't have won it that season is Eric Bledsoe. You cannot trust Eric Bledsoe. But I still think they would have won it. I think they would have had 2 rings. And if they let's just say, for the sake of this video, they win 2 rings despite having Eric Bledsoe. They went back to back. Right? Lots of things would have changed currently up until now. Who knows if maybe Giannis still leaves this summer? Who knows? I think things would have been different. I think the mentality would have been different. The motivations would have been different. I don't think it would have been. I don't know. Things would have definitely been different. So I know what would have been different. Instead of being 4-6, what would it have been? 3-7? Yeah. LeBron would have been 3-7, most doubtly. Well, of course, Anthony Davis wouldn't have a ring. Things probably would have to change over there, too. Eric Spoelstra wouldn't be this all-time. He's still been a good coach, but if the Bucks wasn't able to get to the championship and win it, that means no Miami Heat in it, and things would be a little bit different for Eric Spoelstra. He'd probably still be heralded as a great coach, but there'll be one less finals run with the team that he had. I'm just thinking of those notable teams, Miami and LA. But I will say this. Who says that the Lakers wouldn't even made it to the finals that year? Now that I think about it, going to the other side of the spectrum, who says they couldn't even make it? Because I think right before the season was suspended, I think Anthony Davis was already limping up and down the court already. Already starting to break down. So who knows if the season would have continued? Who knows if the Lakers even got that far? Would they even get past the Los Angeles Clippers? Who knows? Shoot, would they even get past the Houston Rockets? Well, maybe. I don't know. You got James Harden on that team. But who knows? Oh, this is hypothetical, of course. But I really thought the Bucks could have won 2 rings during Giannis' time there. that was 2020, 2021. Could have been the years. Now, some might say the year after that, 2022. I think the 21-22 season was prime for them to win it as well. Chris Middleton didn't get hurt. I thought they could have beat Boston with a healthy Chris Middleton. Now, with the Miami Heat, could they beat the Miami Heat that season? Maybe, probably. Who knows? Who knows? They could have. They could have went back to the championship in 2022. I think they could have beat the Golden State Warriors that year, because they don't nobody to hold Giannis. And let me not forget that the 2019-20 Bucks were also first in defensive rating as well. I think they was quoted as being having the best defense that season, and I think they might have been top 5 in offensive rating as well. So I'm gonna add that one in there too. But 2023, maybe not. But just to have 2 rings, I think things would have changed. Who knows? When Giannis might have stayed. Who knows? Well, anyways, yeah. Wishful thinking. It sucks. But hey, what are you gonna do? At least they got one the year after the bubble. At least I can say that. Which pretty much came out of nowhere, because to be honest, I really didn't pick them to go to the finals that year. I just didn't see it. But then again, I barely paid attention that season. There was so much other stuff going on. Paying attention to basketball. But anyways, tell me what you guys think.